Hey, True Believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with Superman issue 75. This is the final issue in the Doomsday Death of Superman arc. And I've read this several times through my life, from the first time that I read it when I was like, I think 7 or 8 years old, all the way to now where I'm just an old fart. And each time it still hits me right in the feels, and I just can't help but starting to want to cry just how well this was written and how well the artwork just echoes the dialogue. Now, I believe the print date on this was January 1993. But look at how, because if you remember from the last issue, which we've gone through all the other issues, I'll make sure to scatter those throughout this review and the little card thingies up here at the top, as well as the playlist, so that you guys can watch them in order. With that said, in the last issue, Superman says, "You're not getting anywhere near Metropolis. This is where I hold the line, even if it kills me." And so in the wake of that, we just open up on this cacophony of violence happening and just this intense medium shot of the two combatants going at it. The battle has devastated the better part of America, leaving a path of destruction almost as long. Earth's mightiest heroes have already fallen under Doomsday's murderous blitzkrieg. Only one hope remains. One man remains. It stops here, mister. This insanity ends in Metropolis. And you can just see all the, I think it's Star Labs using Cadmus technology to try to take down this beast, saying that these blasters have the ability to take down a tank. And Doomsday's just shrugging it off like it's nothing. And this one flying cadet here, he goes, the weapons boys at Project Cadmus says these shock cannons can take out a tank. How can we handle this guy when Superman can't? This really might be Doomsday. And it's just a great segue into the title of the story. And I miss when, even thinking about it this way, when we talk about how the artwork should drive the story and not so much word balloons, think about how the letter is able to kind of add his little twist and fire to this. Just letting this kind of trail off, leading into the title with the credits. Dan Jurgens, words and pictures. Brett Breeding, finished art. John Costanza, letters. Glenn Whitmore, colors. Jennifer Frank, assistant. Mike Carlin, editor. And then Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. And while Superman's just getting pounded to a pulp, he goes, "I have to move faster. Match Doomsday's speed, or I'm done." And you can just see how dirty the Man of Steel has become, from going all the way back to, Man of Steel issue 18, where it was a little more light-hearted when they were trying to save the Underworlders. And you can just see how this is just spiraled into this life-threatening situation. And even though Doomsday's out to kill and destroy whatever, Superman still cares excuse me, about the people that are around. He goes, "Blast all these choppers and onlookers. They're complicating matters by getting in the way." And even Ms. Grant, which I can't remember the name of her TV show, WCGB or something like that. You go, "Ms. Grant, we better back off." "No way. We're not going to miss the story of the century." Which I get. You want to cover the story, but at the same time, it's pretty bad when you put aside your care for life and limb. And so Superman finally just, he's like, "I'd love to get you two as far from danger as possible, but I just don't have the time. No telling how many lives Doomsday could take while I'm gone." And look at how almost each page in this series is like a splash page. Like, there's not a whole lot as you're going through this. There's not a whole lot of panels. It's just like full on splash pages, dynamic. I mean, look at the way we kind of get this upward sort of Dutch angle from the point of view of Doomsday as he throws Superman into the chopper. And then Superman, taking advantage of the moment to save Lois and Jimmy and get the helicopter at least as far away as he can. And he says, Lois saying, please, maybe you should retreat, get some help. Jimmy is right. It's too late, Lois. The JLA have already fallen, and there's too many innocents in jeopardy right now. It's up to me. Now, within the moment of all this destruction and chaos, you can see the wariness on Superman's face. But Lois and him stop and have a moment. She goes, Clark, just remember, no matter what happens, I'll always love you. Always. And it's just a sweet moment between two people that have loved each other for a lifetime. And again, these great pages. I mean, look at the way Superman just gets fired up after being able to have a moment with the woman that he loves. He goes, but now Doomsday gets his. And Jimmy's just like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen the big guy so fired up. Look at all these action lines to show that he is taking off, even though you can see the pain, the bruising, and everything that he's giving for this city. And the other thing is, I love how in the moments when the action begins, like look at the soft moments, how the paneling, again, how this whole book just tells a story. We get these soft edges. But as he's ready to rock and get in there, look at how they just kind of turn into these very jagged, very agitated, very determined lines. It just really helps impact that moment as Superman barrels into Doomsday. And even when Doomsday tries to take him out again, Doomsday goes after the closest people in Superman's life, and he ain't having it. He blasts out. He goes, if you want to get to my friends, you're going to have to kill me first. And Lois is trying to say, you need to stop. He goes, he wants destruction and death. That's what Doomsday is. To stop him, I have to be very, very focused and bit as ferocious and unrelenting as he is. She goes, but you can't. He wants to kill you, and you can't. But just look at the way he blasts Doomsday into the wall. And you can see how much, just like with Spider-Man, how much on a daily basis Clark is holding back so that he doesn't hurt people. And just the pain continues. And as the two smash each other, the shockwaves just breaking the glass. And at the very end, when Superman is ready to give his all, is when the heartbreaking moment of the death of Superman happens. Now, again, this book, the print date on this was 93. I think it was released the fall of 92 or something like that, but comics, their dating is weird. So I don't, people are like, why, just go ahead and spoil a book that's X amount of years old. No, because there's still new people coming in that haven't read this full story and not have felt that impact that all of us older comic readers have felt. So these final pages, it's hard. It's really hard, especially now that I'm older. Especially when you see Mom and Pa Kent not being able to do anything about it, because they taught their son about being a human, about sacrifice, and all they can do is just watch as their son gave their life for the world to defeat Doomsday. Being a father now makes me think of my little one, and it hits me harder than when I was younger. And for all you upcoming comic readers, I hope that this book impacts you in a very positive light. It's heartbreaking, but I hope it just kind of shows you the importance of what's in your life. And that's kind of what the death of Superman does for me. And that's why to this day, almost 2 decades later, something like that, that's why this comic series still holds the test of time, while it's been reprinted, why they just made a giant omnibus of it, while it's been adapted both into a novel and 2 animated movies, and why it was homaged as well in Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman, because that's how much of an impact and special that this story was. Not that Superman died, but just the way that all the writers took care to show what type of person Superman is and what kind of people, as the human race, we should be. So that way, guys, I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. If you've enjoyed The Death of Superman and have never read it, please, first and foremost, go support your local comic shop or wherever it is you like to grab your comics and books, and either grab the individual issues or, as I said, the collected trades. And if you've enjoyed this review, We really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little super bell next to subscribe, it helped the club channel more than you could possibly know. And also, would love to hear your thoughts and feedback. So I'll make sure to leave the links down to our social media pages down in the description below. Sorry, I'm a little choked up, so my brain's kind of scattered at the moment. So with all that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.